So as you get more familiar with the Mason Media Training Center's videos and tools, you'll find that they're organized under two broad themes. The first theme is how to look your best, how to come across professional and polished. And the second theme is how to effectively communicate your message, how to frame that message, how to answer questions. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter today if you have a great message or great answers or wonderful sound bites to communicate. If you look scared or uncomfortable, no one is going to remember much of what you said. And also, it's not about just doing interviews with TV reporters anymore. We are living in an omnichannel world with news and information and people looking to gather that content coming at us from all directions. You may find yourself being asked for an interview by a blogger who wants to pull out a cell phone and capture video right on the spot. So how to prepare for that and how to handle that situation and come across professionally is just as important as coming across on a TV interview on CNN. Because in either situation, that content is going to make it into the public domain. It's going to represent your ideas, and you want to make sure that you effectively present those ideas and yourself. So put your vanity aside and take to heart some of the lessons that we talk about. Ask for help, certainly from the Mason marketing team. We can, as I mentioned previously, go through simulations and do practice interviews and give you direct feedback, and then socialize those training videos with friends and family who can give you honest feedback about what you're doing well and what you're not doing so well in terms of the actual audience that you're trying to reach. Lesson 1 is all about how to look relaxed. How to look your best, how to be poised and polished and credible so that the focus is on what you're saying and not how you look or how you're delivering that message. So the first thing that you have to think about is, how am I going to be delivering my commentary? Am I going to be sitting down in a traditional interview format, or am I going to be standing up and interacting like I am doing right now? So let's start with standing up. The first thing that you have to do is center yourself and understand, am I talking at the camera or the reporter? We'll talk more later in another lesson about how to make eye contact and when to switch between a camera and a reporter. But for now, let's assume that your objective is to center your body, to look directly at the reporter or the camera, and to deliver commentary that's going to be received in an effective manner. So the best way to do that when you're standing up is to keep your body somewhat straight, keep your arms and hands at your side, and then you can start from that base position and begin to deliver your commentary. As you begin to do that, it's okay to have subtle movements with your arms or your hands, your shoulders or your body, but they're periodic. They're not overwhelming. They're slight animations to help create a little bit of excitement as you begin to answer and interact. So examples might be, as you're making a point, you might want to bring your hands up slightly or make subtle movements that emphasize or reinforce the things that you're talking about. What you want to avoid is making the wild hand gestures, flailing your arms, or too much movement. Those are all things that obviously will distract from your message, not to mention cause you to lose credibility with your audience. So subtle movements are okay, but wild movements, not okay. Let's talk about movement of the rest of your body. So shoulders, head. What you want to do is create ways to use your body language to help reinforce what you're saying, not distract from what you're saying. So an example might be, if you're asked a question, the answer to that question might be, I don't know. We'll talk more about when that's a good or a bad time to say I don't know. But let's say that in this case, you're gonna deliver an answer, something that you just don't know. So use a shoulder shrug or give a little tilt of the head. It demonstrates that you're human, that you're engaged in the conversation, that you're listening, and you're using that body language the same way that you would in a natural conversation to emphasize what you're trying to say in a way that the viewer will visually process that and reconcile it with what's coming out of your mouth. So again, the key to this is subtlety. It's not standing up straight and looking like a stick figure and having absolutely no movement of your head or your body. How does this look if I'm standing talking to you, absolutely no movement? It looks a little awkward, doesn't it? So you have to find that subtlety. This is where practicing on camera makes all the difference. You have to literally get in front of a camera and practice your movements to know what looks too grandiose, what is subtle and what comes across in a way that it enhances your credibility and doesn't distract from it. So the next thing we want to talk about is, what if you're doing that interview and you're sitting down? You want to avoid some things that are clearly wrong. You don't want to lean back in your chair or look too relaxed. You want to, again, center yourself on the camera. And in a Zoom call, for example, or an in-studio interview, you generally want to be making eye contact with the entity that you're talking to, and that will vary between the audience that's out in the public that's watching and the reporter that may be asking questions. Again, we'll talk more about movement of eyes and when to focus on which later. But if you're sitting down, you're going to start with your shoulders up straight, and you're going to lean forward slightly. So experts will tell you it's about maybe a 10-degree, 15-degree lean forward. So if you're looking at a side profile, it kind of looks like that. And the reason that you're leaning forward is because you're going to get a more flattering profile from the camera. If you're back, it could catch a double chin or a little bit of glare. If you're looking down slightly, leaning slightly, the angle will come across much more appealing. So think about how to maintain that position, keep yourself forward, and then again, it's okay even in a sit-down interview to use some minor subtle gestures. You just want to, again, avoid having them be too grandiose for the setting.